This is a follow-up video to a video I did on learning your fretboard. I think I mentioned that when I do a follow-up video, so here we go. So the previous one I went through just learning your natural notes, learning that B and C are fret next to each other, and E and F, everything is 2 frets away. So A string is going A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. Alright, so if we went over, E string would start with E, same thing. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. Alright, so when if you get the E and the A string down by doing this method, you've got half the strings down up to the 12th fret, because the E string on the bottom is the same as the E string on the top, same frets for the notes. And after the 12th fret, it's just repeating. Alright, so then next you can learn it helps to learn the B string independently, I suppose. So you could do the same thing on the B string, going B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. And then for the D and G, here's a bit of a shortcut that helps. It's still, I would recommend doing the same kind of thing where you're going from D to D and G to G. But the shortcut thing that'll help are octave shapes. So if we look at some of the octave shapes, the common one is wherever my first finger is, I'm going to go to the top string, E string on the 5th fret. And what I want to do is go 2 strings down and 2 frets to my right, 2 frets up. So my ring finger is now on the 7th fret of the D string. And you see this is an A on my E string, and 2 frets down, 2 strings down, 2 frets over. That's an octave up, it's another A. That pattern's your octave pattern. And it works, if I'm rooting on the E string, it works anywhere. I'm just always going to add 2 frets, 2 strings down, 2 frets over. Octaves are going to be really useful in playing, so you should just pretty much get used to just moving around. You can strum them as a chord. I'll use the kind of this part of my index finger to rest on that A string that's in between the 2 strings. I'm not going to push down, I'm just going to lightly just rest it on there and just push on my fingertip for the E string. And then when I strum through, I'm muting that middle string. So if I strum it as a chord, I'm not going to hear that A string. So if you kind of get used to playing those, that's going to help, because what you want to be able to do is visualize it on the fretboard. So if I'm looking at this note here, I can already, without having to put my finger there, I can already see that octave note here. Now, if I know my E string, but I haven't got to my D yet, for example, and I'm wondering what note this is, I look up 2 strings, 2 frets down, and see that's a B. And it's a pretty quick way to figure it out until you get it really memorized. The same is going to work from if I start on the A string. I'm going to go 2 strings down to the G string and 2 frets over. Same shape, just everything down a string. So if I know my A string and I'm wondering what note this is, I'm going to go 2 strings up, 2 frets down, and see it's a C. So that's one of the octave shapes. It's really helpful. Another method that's going to help, this is a more traditional way, I think, and it takes more kind of memorizing than using a sort of method, is practicing the C major scale, or A minor. If we stick to naturals, it keeps it easier. So let's say C major or A minor, and I'm going to play it across the strings and say the notes as I go, going C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, whatever. And then I'm kind of learning it in sections at a time, playing it in different positions. And that will help as well. So there's a lot of little tricks to it. But I found the easiest way to get people started on it is what the first video really goes over, and that's just going through 1 string at a time, just worrying about the natural notes. So, and remember, if you know this is, for example, a D, 5th fret of the A string, I want to make a D sharp, I add a fret. Back to D, I want to make a D flat, I subtract a fret. So it takes a half second to do that. If you just start memorizing the natural notes, not only will you be playing in scales, in modes, But it sort of cuts the work in half, because memorizing the fretboard is quite a bit of work if you think of how many frets there are for each string. That's it for this one.